Okay, everyone, welcome to the podcast. This is A&T Talk Podcast. Here we like to talk about things like wrestling and pretty much anything that, pique our interest. As you can see, I'm going to be talking about some AFFO, no, excuse me, FAFO type stuff, excuse me, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. There seems to be something that's very popular going around right now. And, you know, I want to bring it to people's attention. You know, right now, me and my lovely wife are on a little vacation. She's over there sleeping. But yeah, she can jump in whenever she felt like it. But yeah, anywho, I'm here and I'm going to be talking about it. Going to let you guys see a couple of videos and whatnot talking about it, as you can see on the screen. And then, just enjoy ourselves. We had a lovely Thanksgiving and whatnot. So I'm thinking, let's talk about that first. I got a video dealing with that, and let's see where it leads us. So without further ado, let's stop messing around and get to the reason why we're here.
Thanksgiving, family coming together, millions traveling across this beautiful country. Some conversations will be tough, but you're tough too. You may have been on the losing side of this election, but you are on the right side of history. We're still in this fight, and so are you. You may not feel thankful this year, but America is still here, and still a nation of enormous blessings. Yes, we'll have to fight for her, but she'll always be worth fighting for. It won't be easy, but America is stronger than him, stronger than hate, bigger than one election. So this week, let's give thanks, and next week, let's give them hell.
Happy Thanksgiving to each and everyone who is watching this video. This is a time of coming together.
Oh, yeah, I want to make sure to say this as always, if I have to say it or not. Please follow these individuals. I mean, I don't think I had to say it, but it goes without saying, any video I use does not belong to me. It's on YouTube, so it's up for free. Go give these people who did all this hard work a good follow, like and subscribe. Also do so as well for my content, After this, next, video that's going to go up will be, predictions for Survivor Series. Yes, because we do like talking about wrestling, and we're going to do our predictions for Survivor Series. That's tomorrow. Yes, we will also do a, recap and results. Also, we do have it as well available on our, podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So you can go find it. You can just look up Not So Common Sense, because this is under my podcast. Not So Common Sense podcast. And you'll be able to find a bunch of, political and pretty much anything that you may find a liking to. So go there, give it a look, subscribe to it, and trust me, you'll love it. And there you'll be able to listen to our predictions and results as well. So give you multiple avenue to actually catch up on us when we are actually on things like, of course, things like any type of podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify, right? So if you're talking about things like this or talking about wrestling, definitely. So, without further ado, let's let it continue, shall we?
This is a time of thanksgiving. Yes, I know we have political differences. I know we don't agree on candidates. We don't agree on policies. But at least this day, we should be thankful. At least in your life, you might have something thankful.
Ultra Plush for sensitive skin.
Yep. Nope. Not gonna let that happen. You know, trying to throw in the advertisement or so. You know how YouTube is. First time I see it, nope. Can't let that happen. Like, nope, can't let that happen. So, go ahead and get back to it.
Good afternoon. This message is for those that continue to DM and comment saying they're going home for the holidays. They don't know if they can be around their family. They need my sassiness, my encouragement, my empowerment. Come here, let me talk to you all. And hear me when I say this. Lean in. Fuck them people. Absolutely. I'm sick and tired of you all complaining about not wanting to go home to your families and still you go home. You need to go somewhere that regulates your nervous system, that does not cause you anxiety, that does not draw you to anger. If you want to argue at a table with somebody, go to a Denny's. Go to a Waffle House. You do not need to be at your family home. And the great thing about being grown, you can select your own family now. You do not have to go there. Okay? If you don't want to sit next to Uncle Ben's creepy ass, you don't have to. Do you hear me? If you don't want to talk to Miss Nancy about the latest political climate, you don't have to. You all keep putting yourselves in these situations and you just don't have to. I want you to find somewhere else to go. Okay? Listen to me, college students. If you feel like I have to go home because these are people that are paying my bills while I'm out. Okay, then you need to stay in your room. Okay, you don't have to be forced to be around these people. I'm not sure why you all don't understand that you don't have to be in situations you don't want to be in. Okay, and if they want to get all Christian like on you, tell them you're being like Jesus. Flip over the table and walk out. I'm sick and I'm tired. Fuck them people. Go somewhere else. Go where you are celebrated and not just tolerated.
She's advising us to go where we are celebrated. So you not associate with people who voted against your right. So if that is how you think, I don't know. I'm not here to decide on your side. You're the one to decide what to do. But there is a lot of ideas. There is a lot of advices. You and your heart, you're the one to choose what to do. But
right. A lot of these videos you're gonna be seeing deals with have a lot of these like Africans in it, by the way. You know, they jumping on this thing like I am, So I'll give you a little bit of that American side of this stuff that actually knows and deals with this stuff. So, anyway, is what she's saying wrong? I mean, really, you should not have to deal with that type of stuff. Now that we've seen how these people are, we've seen their true colors, right? We are about 2 weeks away from the election, 2-3 weeks away from the election, right? Be at the end of November. We're closer to December than we are the election. We heard how these MAGA morons, these maggots, if you will, have decided to go with Trump. We know how they feel, right? We know how they feel. We heard them talk about how they are for this and that and the hypocrisy of it all, right? So, we know their true colors. They decided that, hey, we're going to go with Donald Trump because of, cheaper gas prices and, you know, the cheaper grocery prices and the cost of eggs, right? We heard him talk about how the cost of eggs is too expensive, right? The cost of eggs are like, you know, $5 when it's actually like $2, right? It's $2 for like a dozen of eggs. I can go to Walmart and get, about like 2 dozen or something like not even 2 dozen, 60 eggs for like $4, $5, $6, $7, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, something like that. Around that number. It's around those numbers. When you see how much it is, it's actually quite, worth it. I can go to Sam's Club and get 5.5 dozen of eggs, right? For like $13, and it's still nothing. 5.5 dozen, bro. Like, for real. 5.5 dozen of eggs for that much. So obviously, a dozen of eggs gotta be like $2. Yes, you can always, and I will say this wholeheartedly, you will always find someone that is willing to sell you some eggs for $35, $45, $50 for a dozen. Just like you will always be able to find gas that's 13, 14, 15, 16 to $100 for 9/10 of a gallon. If you want to make it look like you spend a lot of money on something you shouldn't, you can always find a way around it. I can get an 18-wheeler and put, I get an 18-wheeler right there and put like, regular gas in there and wind up, spending $200, $300, $400 and say, oh, wow, look at that. Look what Trump did, right? Like, oh, look, Trump, look at it. Look, this is how much gas costs under Trump. $400? And you say, all right, damn, you got like 40 gallons of fucking oil. What the fuck you filling up? Right? Of course, I can do that. Everyone can do that. The thing is, in the realistic scenario, when it comes down to real life, right? How much are you actually spending? And once you realize that, it's not that much. It's not. It's just them being idiots. Because what happened? After the whole thing of, oh, I'm trying to pay for cheaper eggs and I'm voting for cheaper eggs and, oh, I'm voting for lower grocery prices and I'm fighting and voting for, lower gas prices, right? After all that shit, guess what happens? After all that, guess what happens? Oh, dang. We go behind ourselves, and now Trump is saying he's going to raise the price of everything. And oh, wow, it's good. It's good. It's good. That's exactly what we wanted. You go on places like TikTok, you hear the elder millennial talk about that's the point. That's the point. Is to pay higher prices on things. What the heck? Y'all were talking about little eggs, prices of eggs now. Donald Trump is saying eggs are going to be more expensive. And he's talking about, oh, yeah, that's the point. That was the point. Oh, yeah, no. Hey, that was the point. That's what we wanted. What hypocritical stuff is this? You wanted to pay for higher eggs, but you voted when it was time to vote for lower prices on eggs. It makes no sense. But that's the point. Of course, it doesn't make any sense. It wasn't supposed to make any sense. Let's keep it going.
But apart from all the things, we still have to be thankful. I want you to listen to this very sad story. I saw this story and then it made me sad, very sad. Please watch this story.
My fear is that I'll get deported to a country that I don't know.
Camila Ruilova Bustamante. She came across the border as a 7-month-old baby with her mother and grandmother. 23 years later, she's still not been able to get the paperwork she needs to be legal.
Threat of deportation is imminent.
How frightened are you? What's your fear?
Having been here since I was 7 months old, my biggest fear, I think, would be that my family is torn apart.
To be fair, we tell her story to voters. Trump.
You know, they try, bro. They try, bro. They try. I ain't gonna lie to you. So gotta let the advertisement play out. So yeah. But anyway, like I was saying, they talk like they talk like this, you know. They make these hypocritical statements, and you think that, oh, you guys are, you know, you voted for, you know, lower prices on things like eggs. Here we go. But now you're voting for higher prices on things. Like, which one is it? It really doesn't make any sense. There we go. Let's go ahead and put that back up there for you.
To see if there was any empathy for Camilla. And there was some, but not much.
There's going to be sad stories. She might be among them. She might be among them. I don't know how it's all going to plan out. I would love to see, like, she came at 7 months old. It's not her fault she was here illegally. You know, the mom is with her, by the way, and is also still undocumented. Well, her mom should go home at least. At the very least.
Others had less empathy.
Send her home and let her figure out how to get legal. We just got to get control of the border and know who's coming in here.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did.
Was one of the reasons because of immigration?
Yes. My family did it the right way. So why not go down the path of actually becoming official?
Mi nombre es Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. My name is
AOC, as she's known, is leading the charge, urging Joe Biden to give temporary protected status to 300,000 undocumented Ecuadorians, many of whom live in her district in New York.
We agree. Being undocumented is a problem. But our solution, instead of turning the military on our own people, is to document them. To document the undocumented.
Not so simple. The Immigration Office told us it has nearly 7.8 million immigration cases currently on its books, while other estimates put the total number of undocumented migrants at over 13 million people, a number that's risen sharply under President Biden. And officials told us there are more than 600,000 migrants with either criminal convictions or pending criminal charges.
And now, MAGA family, I don't want to spend Thanksgiving alone. Is there?
No, not yet. Not yet. Because I said, nope, I want to wait for him. Because I want to get into him. But as you heard, right? Quite funny. You have people and they're saying, hey, yeah, how about we actually do get them legal status and a way to become legal? I don't think that sounds that bad. You know, they're here illegally, okay. Giving them protected status or way to citizenship is far better than sending people who are here like at the age of 7 months. Like, how many of us remember when we were 7 months old, right? What life was like at 7 months? Or do you just remember the things that you know, when you were here? Like, I don't think that person at 7 months old should be punished, right? Don't forget that these are the same individuals, these MAGA morons, these maggots, or the same individuals who would say, oh, you know, yeah, for protecting the children until they're born, of course, right? Until they're born. After they're born is, well, let's get rid of them. That's just ridiculous. Checking on my phone as well. See what's going on. So I know you guys looking like, what is he looking at? Don't worry, don't get to this fool here because he's doing a lot.
Please, anyone I can spend Thanksgiving with. I have no family, so I would love to spend Thanksgiving with somebody. Please, thank you.
Yeah, it's a time of coming together. It's a time of at least supporting those people that are in trouble, supporting those people that have been disowned by their family. It is a time to do so. Now, this is a message from the president, from the coming president.
We're very blessed to call this nation our home, and that's what America is. It is our home. It's where we raise our families, care for our loved ones, look out for our neighbors, and live out our dreams. It's my prayer that on this Thanksgiving, we begin to heal our divisions and move forward as one country, strengthened by shared purpose and very, very common resolve. In declaring this national holiday, President Lincoln called upon Americans to speak with one voice and one heart. That's just what we have to do. We've just finished a long and bruising political campaign. Emotions are raw and tensions just don't heal overnight. It doesn't go quickly, unfortunately. But we have before us the chance now to make history together, to bring real change to Washington, real safety to our cities, and real prosperity to our communities, including our inner cities. So important to me and so important to our country. But to succeed, we must enlist the effort of our entire nation. This historic political campaign is now over, but now begins a great national campaign to rebuild our country and to restore the full promise of America for all of our people. I'm asking you to join me in this effort. It's time to restore the bonds of trust between citizens, because when America is unified, there is nothing beyond our reach, and I mean absolutely nothing.
So, you hear how he's talking, right? He's talking about people coming together and everything else like that, but talking about mass deportation. You see how the cognitive disconnect is there, right? You see how that is. And I was looking up on my phone, and I found it here as well on YouTube, that people had the right to be afraid. Because you saw in the video, the woman who was here for when she was 7 months old, right? And is afraid of being deported to a country she has no knowledge of, right? I'm here to tell you, they do that. They do that to American citizens. To American citizens, right? Like, yeah. And it's him, by the way, because this, I have a video I'll let you guys look into as well. Don't worry, I'm going to jump back to it. You know, jump back to this one, but, you know, let you guys look at it. Let me see.
If you know how to use Microsoft.
Nope. Nope. You gotta make sure the Yep. Let you guys look at it. Stop that one and share the new one. There you go.
It's clear that Jimmy Al-Dawood was in distress once he got to Iraq.
I begged them, I said, please, I've never seen that country, I've never been there, however, they forced me, I'm here now, and I don't understand the language, basic, I was sleeping in the street, I'm diabetic, I take insulin shots, I've been throwing up, sleeping in the streets, I don't find something to eat.
Ever since the Trump administration's immigration crackdown began, many distressing videos have been circulated, but this was the first to foretell the death of a man whose lawyers had warned that deportation to Iraq could be fatal. He was deported in June. 63 days later, he was dead.
He was on a bench in this airport in Najaf with basically just the clothes on his back, with nothing. He had no food, he had no water, he had nothing. An airport official took pity on him, gave him some food, called his family, and that's how they found out that he had been deported. It was incredibly, incredibly cool.
In a statement, Immigration and Customs Enforcement said Al-Dawood had a criminal record and so had no legal basis to remain in the US, and that he was given a full complement of medicine to ensure continuity of care. The Detroit area has one of the largest populations of those with Iraqi heritage outside of Iraq. Many, like Jimmy, are Chaldean Catholics who came to the US as refugee children. Around 1,000 green card holders currently face deportation to Iraq because they have a criminal record, no matter how minor. Even though they served their time in jail and many like Jimmy have no connection to Iraq, ICE is determined to send them to a country that the State Department says no American should travel to because it's too dangerous as a result of the US invasion. And Jimmy wasn't the first to be sent back.
Of the individuals that we're in contact with, there's some individuals we don't know what happened to them. We don't know if they're alive or they're dead. The individuals that we've spoken to, many of them are in terrible situations. They are in hiding. Some have been assaulted. Some have been shot at. We know that Jimmy obviously died.
Many in the Chaldean community supported Donald Trump in the 2016 election, encouraged by pledges of social conservatism and the protection of religious minorities abroad.
Nearly 90,000 Chaldean registered voters. He won the state by 10,000 or so. So absolutely it could impact the election.
And it's not just Iraqis like Jimmy who face deportation to countries with which they have no connection. Several Asian and African countries are being pressured to accept deportees, even though they too would face an uncertain future in countries they don't know.
One other thing I wanted to say about Jimmy is that, we were speaking to him shortly before his death. He really wanted to share his story as a way to make sure that other people wouldn't experience what he experienced.
Wow. What'd I tell you? Now I hear people saying, he was a criminal though, right? Let me ask you, would you feel comfortable knowing that since you jaywalked, you're going to be deported to another country? If you're white, I'm just going to pick a country, say Germany. I'm going to say, since you jaywalked, the police can beat you over the head, throw you into a goddamn paddy wagon, and you're going to Germany. Just the clothes on your back. Nothing else. Oh, well, shouldn't commit the crime, right? Or jaywalking. That man, Jimmy Al-Dawood, died. He's dead. He died in Iraq, Baghdad, a country he knew nothing of. He came to this country, United States, at the age of 1 year old. He was a fully legalized citizen. He came here in 1979. He was in Trump's administration when he was deported. That's 2016, 17, 18, 19. You do the math. 79, 2019. All that time you've been here legally. Well, he committed a crime. Put him in jail. The point is, he served. See, if you heard and remember, it's only 2 minutes. They stated already clearly and precisely that he already served time for that crime. He committed a crime, was punished of it, served for it, and since he had it as a record on him, that was more than enough to deport him to a country he knew nothing about. Nothing. Nothing. As a black man with a criminal record, I shudder to think that 30, 40, 50 years down the road, I'm an old man and just jackass decides I'm going to start deporting African Americans back to Africa. And because of a crime I committed and was actually punished of and served that punishment, but since in my background, I'm going to get deported to a country I know nothing about and have nothing but the clothes on my back. I'm a diabetic as well. I know how it is to be without medicine. I will not be able to survive starving for about 60 days as a diabetic. He's guaranteed to die. Even if he gets food here and there, he has no way to regulate his diabetes. It was a death sentence. They were better off putting a bullet in his mouth. And you want to talk about coming together, Thanksgiving, things like that? You want to talk about not fearing deep mass deportation? And they're talking about getting rid of citizens. Like, seriously, citizens. They're talking about getting rid of people who are here, right? Getting rid of people who are here as citizens and saying they're going to get rid of their citizenship. Denationalization. And since you get rid of their citizenship, they're then be considered illegal immigrants and they can deport them. What? But I thought that we wanted to, give people a chance to be here and deal with people who are working and allow people to, live here and work here and all that stuff, right? Looked like that was a lie. And for all those people, you heard, he won that place that they was at. The people, that's what they want to do to you. This is what he does to his own people. Jimmy, our dude that I showed you, one of those people that he's with, that's like him, voted exclusively for Donald Trump. Now, Jimmy can't do it again because he did. Straight up dead. He died in Baghdad, Iraq. A country that we can't even visit. They just threw him over there with the clothes on his back, and that's it. And he starved to death. Oh, he was harassed, though, too. People kicked him. and all that stuff.
Let us give thanks for all that we have, and let us boldly face the exciting new frontiers that lie ahead. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Those are sweet words to some people, but others, it's like paper, it's like chili you're putting in their mouth. It's paining them right now because what they're expecting to happen to them starting the next year. Now, this lady have refused to invite the family.
So am I the asshole for telling my pregnant cousin that she's not invited to my house for Thanksgiving? And I know just based off the question, it sounds like, yes, you're the asshole, but let me give y'all some context. So most of my family still lives in New York. We live down here in Georgia. So because everyone is living their lives, doing their own thing, we don't really get to spend a lot of time together. So I decided this year I'm going to host Thanksgiving. Everybody's going to come down to my house. It's going to be great. Everybody's like, yeah, cool. They're in, right? Sounds great. Last night, I'm on the phone with my grandmother, and she's like, oh, by the way, I don't think I can make it to Thanksgiving. And I'm like, why not? And she's like, well, because if your cousin goes into labor, I don't want her to be here by herself. And I'm like, all right, cool. That makes sense. While I'm on the phone with my grandmother, said cousin calls. So I was like, all right, I'm going to talk to you.
Want to start a
Yeah, it's going to have a lot of commercials on here. But again, I'll speed that up real quick. So basically over there, her grandmother didn't want to leave because her cousin was pregnant, right? Go through some of that. Let it go continue. Right.
Background on my cousin. She is, she is 19. This is her first pregnancy. Now, even though she is biologically my cousin, her mother and I grew up like sisters. So I've always been like a second mother to her. So we have a very close relationship. So we're talking, she's complaining about pregnancy and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, by the way, my grandmother is not coming to Thanksgiving because of you. And she's like, what are you talking about? So I explained to her, I was like, yeah, she said she would rather be up there with you, in case you go into labor. She doesn't want you by yourself. And she goes, but I'm coming down for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, no, you're not. And she was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, baby girl, your due date is November 27th. Thanksgiving is November 23rd. You are not traveling 800 miles at 9 months pregnant. She was like, yeah, I'm coming. I said, no, you are not coming to my house for Thanksgiving. She goes, I don't understand why not. I'm like, what if you go into labor on the plane? She goes, oh, no, that's not gonna happen. I'm like, how do you know? She goes, because I'm not gonna fly. I'm gonna take the China bus. For those of you who don't know, the China bus is a budget coach bus that runs from Chinatown in New York City all the way down to Florida, I believe. So what I said to her was, you're going to take a 24-hour bus ride, because first I thought it was going to be the 2-hour plane ride. No, you're going to take a 24-hour bus ride at 9 months pregnant? Absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely the fuck not. It makes no sense. I'm running out of time. I'm going to continue in part 2.
These are 3 things not to do as a guest in Thanksgiving.
Whoever's cooking that day has plenty to do. Something that everybody really likes to eat.
And
good. People are more divided than ever. Good. Not everybody's going to have a happy thing.
Yes, this is the one I definitely want to get to.
Thanksgiving this
Why
year.
would someone not have a happy Thanksgiving? Now's the time for family bonding.
Divorce rates at an all-time high.
Good.
People are more divided than ever.
Good.
People are cutting off their family members.
If you cut off your family members, then you're the problem. You should never cut off your family!
The people that typically say never cut off your family members doesn't have toxic family members that they can't be around.
But at the end of the day, you should always forgive your family. No matter what happens, they're still family.
Okay, so if somebody's horrible to you over and over again and you keep forgiving them, then what do you do?
Then you forgive them one more time! They didn't mean it!
This shows that you've never had to deal with this in your life.
Well, of course, my family's not divorced and I received love my entire life. I've never been brutally betrayed by a family member repeatedly over and over.
I think it's better to understand that differences, and it's just better to acknowledge that not everyone's going to be having a happy Thanksgiving, and that some people will be
They
alone.
should pick up the phone, call their family, and make amends. I'm trying to be positive, but everybody else is being
Well, this is just the reality of America now.
What, people spending the holidays alone or in small groups? What's the solution
I
then?
guess we'll have to figure that out together.
After listening to what you had to say, I think that is too late! 2025! I can never already tell somebody else's situation could be different than mine.
Happy Thanksgiving to those spending it alone or with a small group of people. With the divorce rate at an all-time high, it's hard to get families together during these times. I just wanted to say you are important, you matter. I hope you have a great day on the day of Thanksgiving. You matter, you are important, you are loved, you are loved. Have a great day on the day of Thanksgiving.
I just told my parents I'm not coming to Thanksgiving dinner. I said to my dad, I do not have the emotional energy to be around people who are not involved with their own healing, who are not authentic, who are fake, who have these different ideologies. I don't have the emotional availability to meet that this year, so I'm out. I can't come. Thankfully, I have a father who respects that, who didn't pressure me or push me or make me feel guilty. I know a lot of people don't have that. And I'm glad I'm finally listening to myself and not putting myself in situations that are just going to be so draining, and respecting this lower season that I'm in. Because so often I've had these low seasons and I've just pushed through everything and come out on the other side feeling worse and spiraling deeper. And now if I carve out the time to surround myself with spaces or places that at least don't steal energy from me, that's a win. So here's permission for holiday season. You don't have to go. If they're going to take something from you, you don't have to go.
You voted for a candidate endorsed by the KKK. For the rest of your life, you have to know that you voted the same way as the KKK. No ifs, ands, or buts. No doubt about it. Which I told him she was chiming in and agreeing because there's no way around it. You voted for hatred. You voted against women, against the gay community, against Mexicans.
Things are not easy right now to the MAGA people and even other people who have been.
Nope, wrong door. Yeah. He's always trying to get in. I said, somebody trying to get in? I said, somebody trying to get in. Yep, wrong door. Yeah. Wakey, wakey. Someone trying to get in. Yeah. Still doing this live here. Yeah, I would have saw that when I witnessed something bad happening to them. To them. But as you seen, that's why I put that thing on. I know. Make sure to do that too. Like, nope. I'll say, is that somebody trying to get in? Yeah, somebody trying to get in. I said, clear. I said, what was that? What was that? Oh, let me go up and try to stop that from happening. You know, gotta be my black self. But yeah. Anywho, you got to see a lot of people are having problems with, you know, let me go ahead and stop sharing that real quick and get myself real big right now. There you go. You got to see a lot of people having problems with Thanksgiving. You know, things changed. Not everyone's going to be having that Thanksgiving that we all know of. You know, spending time with family. You know, me and my wife, for instance, aren't spending Thanksgiving that much with our family because we're trying to be able to get some alone time with ourselves because she doesn't have, you know, that much time to spend by herself, really. right? She doesn't. And when she gets time off of work, we like to sometimes spend that with ourselves. Is that wrong? No. A lot of people came over. A lot of her friends and family came over, spent time. They had a good time. So are we. She's doing something that she rarely gets to do. And that's sleep. With 2 jobs, working 7 days a week. Now, if I know, when I say 7 days a week, y'all know you guys, yeah, she does. 7 days a week. Getting up 7 to 3. 7 days a week. Missing no days. She got to get up 5 o'clock in the morning to get dressed, get herself together, get her lunch, out the door. I had to drive her. So that means I had to get up 5 o'clock in the morning, take her to work, turn around, pick her up. And then both of us trying to go to school. I'm trying to get myself together to get my master's degree. She's finishing up on her master's degree. We don't have time like we used to. And it's just like that. It's just like that. I mean, it is. It's just like that. So I'm just, saying it like it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. And you shouldn't be spending time with people that are draining. And a lot of people, like you saw, the person from MAGA couldn't find anybody to be around. Why? Nobody wants to be around you when you're emotionally draining. Why would I? And people are finding out saying, yeah, we done with that shit. Done that emotionally draining stuff. We ain't dealing with it no more. Bye. And I'm glad. Don't worry, I'll be putting up more videos. That's going to be one thing I'll be doing. Probably not going to be seeing from here. This is the hotel anyway. As you see. Right? As you see. Next time I might be at home. But I'll be putting up videos. Fuck around and find out. And the next video you're going to see from me, more likely, if not both of us, will be the predictions for Survivor Series. Because we like wrestling. We're going to talk about that. And more likely the results as well. Then we're going to do the podcast on the phone as well. Right. For the predictions and results. Give you guys opportunity. Anyway, this is going to be why I end the podcast, guys. Later.